Howdy, everybody. It is Meeple Syrup time. I'm Sen, and that guy up there is.
Hi, it's Hafiz, and on this side we have the one, the only JT Smith.
Hey, thanks for having me.
So, this is a long time coming. JT, I've known you for years now, but I don't. Have you ever been on this show?
I have been on this
Oh,
show
yeah, yeah, yeah.
a
A
long
long,
time
long
ago.
time
I think
ago.
it with Bebo. I was on the show with Bebo
Oh, that was
back then.
ancient history.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
been it's been years at this point.
Okay, well, I'm glad to have you back. So, welcome, JT, and welcome everybody who's watching. So, JT, before we get started on the questions that we're going to ask you specifically, can you also? I don't know if you noticed. I have no clue how to put an exclamation mark after somebody's name where there's like a period and then an exclamation mark, or is it just an
It's
exclamation mark?
because
Or
the reason you're having trouble is because there aren't any periods in my name. It's just
I
JT
did,
with no.
I didn't know. I mean, I
It's
always
fine.
write it just JT, but then I was
Uh-huh.
like, is there period? Are there periods? I don't know. Anyways, long story
It's all
short,
good.
I don't know how to do that. And also, I guess someday we should figure out what does JT actually stand for.
It's easy. JAYTEE. It's real simple.
I
There
like
you
how
go.
you
Okay.
shortened it just to JT. That's
That's right.
solid.
I'm just
Yeah.
trying not to
Right.
confuse people.
Yeah.
So
There you go. So, JT, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? Maybe a little bit about your origin story, where you got into games, and
oh wow.
particularly your role at the Game Crafter. I know it's
Yeah.
a very long story. So,
That would be going way back. Let's see. How did I get into games? So first of all, I guess I'm JT Smith. I got into games. Actually, it was a friend in high school got me into role playing. That's how I got into games originally, and then continued role playing through college. And then realized after college that role playing was taking too long, and switched to board games. So I just don't like. It's been I still role play once in a while, but I don't have people in my life where I can commit to the amount of time, the amount of continuous iterations to do role playing. So board games are much easier that way. But
Mhm.
anyway, as far as the Game Crafter, I created the Game Crafter back what is that 17 years ago. If you're not familiar with the Game Crafter, we manufacture board games one at a time. So that's our whole deal is that you can get literally any kind of board game you need, whether it's you need chits or boards or tiles, tokens, game pieces, dice, boxes, manuals, the whole nine yards. You can get a game that looks like it came off of any store shelf anywhere in the world, um, produced one copy at a time, and that's our bread and butter. We do that right here in Madison, Wisconsin, in the United States, and we've been doing that since, like I said, 17 years now. So 2009 is when we started doing that. So yeah, that's a long. I guess that's the short version of a long story.
Right, and that's a very storied history in terms of like how you started from a couple. Okay, so what machines did you start with at the Game Crafter, like in 17 years ago?
We didn't start with any machines, actually. I
Wow.
so a friend of mine owned a copy shop that was like a UPS store,
Hmm.
and it had a copy shop in the side of it, and we used his equipment to make the original games. But we quickly learned that there just wasn't enough production capacity there. So then I bought some machines and brought them in. I bought a copier similar to the one I was using at his store, and I bought a hand rolling die cutter. I mean, it was this. Yeah, it had a motor on it, but you still had to really push the die through it because the motor did not have enough power to actually, pop out the cards on the other end. And so it was just I hired one person to basically run that while I wrote the code to, actually make the website work and all that kind of stuff. And so yeah, we started really small. We started in a 200 square foot office after we moved out of the UPS store.
How
200
does
square
how does
feet.
that work with
I know
copiers?
it did not like there was no room to move in there. In fact, it was the original office where the Onion started, which is a
Are you kidding
newspaper.
Oh,
me?
wow.
Yeah,
That's pretty
literally
That's
funny.
the
pretty
same
cool.
office. Yeah,
That's like a storied history too, right?
it
The
is a
Onion
storied history.
and the Game Crafter.
That's
I
right.
have to
Yeah.
say, though, I am a little disappointed that you've now shown us what's in the secret sauce because in my mind, I always pictured it like Santa's workshop. Like you would just have a whole bunch of gadgets and doodads and like elves with floppy hats just making board games nonstop. That's
Well,
when I
that's
get
what
my
it is
copies.
today.
Oh, okay, perfect. Because when I get my copies from the Game Crafter, like I feel like there's something magical about it, and I'm like, it's the Santa's Workshop element. So
Yeah, there
really, it's
is a
like
little bit of
imaginary.
something to that. Like multiple people now have referred to me as the Willy Wonka of board games. Like they imagine
I
my
was just gonna
factory
say,
to
yeah.
be like the Willy Wonka factory, so yeah, I mean it is magical in like what we produce in the smallest amount of space that we can do it. But it doesn't look like Willy Wonka. I wish it looked like the Willy Wonka factory. That'd be
I'm
perfect.
sure you could make it look like
A
the Willy
cho-
Wonka factory.
I suppose if I was willing to spend all the money we make on board games in a year, I could probably paint it all up to look it nice and get some set
well,
designers and stuff like that. But
you just got to prioritize. Like focus on the chocolate river first, and everything else
right,
can follow after that.
yeah,
Right, right,
Yeah,
right.
you
There you
gotta.
go.
If you don't have a boat going down the chocolate river, what are you even doing?
Right?
exactly. Like, what are you in this business for to begin with?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. And it doesn't surprise me that you got started with RPGs being in, Wisconsin. That's a
Yeah,
Wisconsin tried and true um pastime for nerds in Wisconsin, I guess, right?
yeah,
Um
absolutely.
yeah, of course. It's the birthplace of
Al-
all that stuff.
Although it wasn't D&D. Funny enough, it was actually it was called Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Even better.
Was the thing I got in on, and that was back before Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles turned into like cartoons and stuff. It was actually really gory back then.
Yeah, that was
Um,
the black and white palladium.
yeah,
Yeah, they all have the same bandana color and
Yeah,
right.
everything. Yeah.
because
Yep,
why would you need any other colors except
exactly.
to sell different, action figures? So
Mhm.
that's really interesting that you got you started, and then you started hand cranking out these prototypes and individual games. And how did it grow from you? Was it just two people to start?
It was literally one person. I mean, I guess if you count me, then it's two people. I was counting. It was one person doing the manufacturing, and then
And
there
you were
was
doing the
me
coding.
writing the code. And it just did that for the first couple of years. It was basically just that. I was writing code, somebody else was making the games, and I was buying all of the supplies and stuff so that they could make the games.
Right.
So I was handling all of the inventory and all that kind of stuff and business stuff. But yeah, that was it. We did that for the first few years, and until we were getting to the point where we outgrew that office space. We had eventually taken over the entire basement of the building that we started in, where you had the 200 square feet. We were up to like 2,000 square feet, and that was the entire basement of that building. And so then eventually we had to actually go move into a real boys factory. And so yeah, these days our factory is 25,000 square feet. So it's gotten quite a bit bigger than it was
Yeah.
back then. So
Okay, and so you moved from like manual die cut, roller press, and a photocopy machine that you just bought because you knew how to use it, as opposed to like an offset, right?
yes,
I know what
you
you're
make
doing.
it sound bad, but you're right.
No,
Yes,
no,
that
no.
is
I would do the
exactly.
same thing. I would literally do the same thing. Oh, I know how to use that. I'm going to buy another one. Just like it. It's like when I buy shirts. If I find a shirt, or even better, a
Oh,
pair of pants.
yeah, me
Pants
too.
are very, because I'm like short and stumpy, right? So
Mhm.
if I find the right pair of pants, I can guarantee you I'm buying 3 or 4 pairs of those pants in as many different colors as I can get.
Yeah,
Not because
I'm
I'm a
with you.
guy, but because I can never find things that fit me.
Mhm.
So if I know how to use something, I will literally go and buy that thing, which is why I don't have a 3D printer, because I have no clue what I'm doing. Okay,
Ah,
so technology wise,
mhm.
you then advanced to like offset printing,
Nope.
like other
Really, I
CNC
mean,
lasers. What did you get?
so these days our printers are roughly the size of a Greyhound, not quite as tall, but like a Greyhound bus.
Bus. Yeah, yeah.
It's not as tall as a Greyhound bus, but it's as long as a Greyhound bus and weighs almost as much as a Greyhound bus. But they are still, even though it is just giant thing, it is still basically a glorified copy machine. It's got the same kinds of things in it, just built for an industrial scale rather than your
Mm,
local copy shop. So it's not an offset press, because an offset press doesn't work well
right.
for one off.
Yeah, it works
So
well for
it's
multiple copies,
right.
like
So
hundreds, thousands.
it's called, in the industry, it's called a digital press.
Right.
So, but yeah, that's what we're doing for printers. And then I've got, I don't know, like half a dozen different kinds of cutting machines that we use to like cut all the different components. Some of which are like literally were invented just for us. And some of which are things that we bought something and then modified it to work for us, because you might not know this, but people don't tend to make machines for businesses that only exist in one place. So we're kind of unique in what we do, and so we had to kind of make our own processes, make our own software, make our own hardware, everything. So yeah.
And what did you actually go to school for? Just because I'm curious.
Television engineering.
Okay.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So I mean, I also have been programming since I was a little kid. I got a color computer way back in the day, which nobody even knows what that is at this point. But that was a brand from Radio Shack back in the day.
The Tandy.
And the Tandy. Yep, exactly. And so I got one of those, and I've been coding my whole life. But so it was just natural for me to. In fact, that's how I got my minor in college. I was a tech writing minor, and I only ever took one tech writing class because the rest of all of my credits for my minor were filled by teaching professors HTML, because that was right around when the web was starting to get big, and they all wanted to know how to make web pages. And so I literally taught classes on HTML to get my tech writing minor finished.
That's awesome.
That's hilarious. So like you're the one that's responsible for all the like under construction animated GIFs and things like that. That professor.
I tried to teach people not to do that, because even back then it was not. It was not a good thing. But yeah.
So you've told us a little bit about how the Game Crafter developed and improved over time, and we're going to come back to some of those in changes, because it sounds like you're constantly making improvements to the games you created. But we didn't get to the why. Did you just wake up one day and be like, "You want to know what? I want to start like making board games," but not like designers who are just like, "I'm going to just create a board game and then pitch to like I'm going to actually make the games."
It's because I'm a moron, is really what it is. Like this is not a business you get into if you want to be rich. But it was something. So this is going to sound funny, but I hate crafting games. Like the actual production of making a prototype, I can't stand it. And I was a game designer making my own prototypes at home, like we all do. And I can't stand that process. It's so boring. And, the ink that you get for printer, or like consumer level printers, is basically unicorn blood. Like they're charge a mint for it, and you use an entire cartridge just to print one deck of cards or whatever. And so I looked around for a company that did it, and only found the shells of companies that had tried and failed. So I'm like, well, I can do this, because I figured out what they were doing wrong. And what they were doing wrong was they didn't try to automate the hell out of everything, which me as a software guy, that's what I do. And so they were trying to run it like they would actually have meetings with customers that wanted to get a deck of cards printed. But you don't have time to have a meeting with every customer when you're printing one deck of cards.
One deck of cards. Yeah. Wow.
So I wrote the website that fully, I never had to talk to a customer. That was the whole point, right? If I had to talk to a customer,
that explains a whole lot, actually, JT.
I would go out of business. Yes, it does, doesn't it?
That explains a whole lot. Wow. And so while you were nerding out behind your computer screen, and then your partner was like physically manufacturing things, people were finding you guys somehow. How did you get the word out that, hey, I'm up in Wisconsin, and we make game. We don't make games. We make game.
We make game. Yeah.
We make game.
It was a lot of work and a lot of luck, honestly. I drove around, me and my business partner drove around to every board game store within 500 miles of where we are, and literally talked to every board game store owner, trying to get them to help promote us. We also were out on like Board Game Geek and a bunch of other websites that were around. And then on top of that, we got lucky with a few things. TechCrunch, which was a big web blog back then.
Right. Oh my gosh.
Did a article on us making print on demand games, and then on top of that, Rafe Koster, who is one of the guys behind Ultima Online, was a huge fan of what we were doing, and so he wrote on his blog about what we were doing, and that of course got us some media attention as well, because at that point Ultima Online was a huge online game. So yeah, it was a lot of work and a lot of luck, and then we went to all kinds of conventions, and even to this day, like, we still go to a lot of conventions, but we also pay our customers to go to conventions to represent us, because they made their product with us, so they can literally talk about it with other people about how they did it, and they get to promote their game on our dime, and then also get to promote the Game Crafter at the same time. So
yeah. Sen, how did you find out about the Game Crafter?
Protospiel, probably Protospiel. At the time when I was starting to do design, which was about like 21 odd years ago, then we had started to look out at about like, how do we go to conventions and how do we do these things? And I think it was really through Protospiel, because living in London, where I live, which is like, an hour from the border, really, we would go to Ann Arbor, because Ann Arbor is only like 3 hours away. And I think that was the first time that I got to understand, James Matthew was there as well. This is where I met James. And I think he's the one who said, oh yeah, you guys should use this thing. And we never really did. But, well, and it was only because like the American dollar was so expensive. I mean, now it's whatever. It's still like way too expensive, but it was the shipping. I was like, I'm frugal with shipping. And so the game itself was expensive because it's a one-off, and then shipping it to Canada and the chances of it getting dinged at the border, and so we just never used it as much as I liked the idea of it. I had actually talked to JT at one time. I try to convince him, what do you think it would take to build like the same thing up in Canada? He goes, and what did you say to me, JT?
I think $2 million is what I said to you.
That's exactly what you said. At the time, I was like, you got $2 million? Yeah. Because that's what it'll take.
Yeah. I mean, I say the same thing to people that ask me to build it in Europe. So 2 million euros is what it'll take. So
right. And
that's not really far off. Honestly, it would be about that. What's that?
Yeah. I found out about the Game Crafter randomly in an academic book. I was starting to... Yeah, I'm a teacher by profession, and I was teaching high school history, and I'm trying to find an interesting way to get them to learn about this history where at 16-year-olds they would actually care about what was happening. I'm like, okay, let me make some games. And I was making like terrible games. And so I'm like, okay, let me read up on this stuff. And I didn't know about like the different blogs that were out there, or the Board Game Design Lab, or any of these different things. So I went to the library and I'm like, oh, there's this book on games and education. And I took it out, and it was like a series of essays that people had made. And in one of them, they're just like, yeah, we made our game, and then we like made prototypes, and they had a link to the Game Crafter, because that was back when you could still include like links in your bibliography on an academic book. And I'm like, I've never heard of this. Let me go look into it. And then that was part of me falling down the rabbit hole. But yeah, I think I actually still have the book somewhere hanging around here. I should probably return it to the library because it's been a while. But yeah,
nice. Yeah.
That's pretty funny.
I'm wondering if that was one of the way back then. Like, I used to do a lot of work. I mean, the Game Crafter still does a lot of work with universities, but way back then I did a lot of work personally with universities, and so I wrote chapters and forewords and stuff like that in a lot of different academic books about gaming in education, essentially. And so I'm wondering if that was one of the many books that I have a credit in somewhere for that kind of a thing.
I'll see if I still have it kicking around, I'll find it. And I'll send you a message if you're in there.
Okay.
That's a really good point, though, because a lot of educators, you don't need multiple copies of the game. You need one, but you'd like it to be nice enough that the children or the students, whatever age they are, will engage with it. That it's robust enough that it'll last at least a few semesters, and you can probably you might be able to get some funding for it. So I think that's a really good market for the POD scene. And then if you did it like teachers. Do you know teachers pay teachers or teachers? What is it? Teachers paying teachers?
Yeah,
Can't
yeah,
remember.
Teachers Pay Teachers. It's like a website where teachers can share the resources they made. So if you're like really in your pinch, you're looking for something, you can be like, okay, Cold War, and then you can find a whole bunch of resources that are already made
On the
on
Cold
that.
War.
Yeah.
And if I
And
made a game about the Cold War, I could put it up there and then send a link over to the Game Crafter or something. I think that'd be a really cool thing. Like, I
Cool.
wonder
Yeah,
if
I've never
there's
heard of that. That's awesome.
yeah. So teachers pay teachers, but also like there's a lot of game schoolers. So people who homeschool, but they like using games.
Yeah.
And sometimes they really like, trying to learn it from whatever subject they're teaching from a game that isn't actually about that, because that's
Yeah.
actually usually those games are more fun, to be honest. I'm going to be blunt about that. But I could foresee like the game schoolers saying, look, I really need to get them up to curricula on this particular subject. Is there a game about that? And if the game crafter had access to those types of things, or if the game crafter had listings or tags that could point game schoolers, homeschoolers to those things, that would be pretty neat, actually. Because I'm sure you'd see people saying, "Oh, because they get money to buy things for curriculum, right, as part of their allotment for keeping the child at home to teach them, right?" So,
Yeah, we do have
anyways,
a ton of educational material on our website, actually,
mhm.
that teachers publish and that people, homeschoolers publish, all kinds of stuff. And I mean, honestly, some of our biggest customers in the early days were teachers. Like I
That
remember
makes sense.
in our first year, we had this card game that was about math, and this teacher had made this math card game for his class, and then he shared it on some math teacher's mailing list. It went out to like 20,000 teachers or something,
oh
and
wow.
he ended up selling. That was our first big hit. He sold something like 2,000 copies in a month or something,
Yeah.
and this was back in like our first or second year. So
But like I be cheaper is saying right now, my wife uses that teachers pay teachers a lot, and it's true because we are literally desperate for content all the time. It's like, what do I have? I'm just thinking about it right now. What do I have to teach about social skills? Oh man, I'm gonna have to make something up. What if somebody already made something and I could just buy
exactly.
it or print it
Yeah.
out or whatever,
And
or
board games
if
are
I'm thinking ahead,
perfect.
get it from the game crafter. Uh,
Yeah.
there's other things. So I've been talking about homeschooling for a long time, and I don't even homeschool, but I know a lot of people who do, and like there's whole entire homeschool conferences,
Oh
just like
yes.
just like there's librarians conferences, there's conferences for all sorts of things, and I bet you, if you went to one of them and you had like a thing about here's what there is at the game crafter. Yes, it's a little more expensive, but you can't get this anywhere else, and it's perfectly suited for what you want to do. I bet you could probably find some customers in those spaces. Anyway,
Yeah.
yeah, it's really neat. Like I think tapping into these unconventional markets is really where, well, I mean, it is where the game crafter literally comes from, right? It is like,
Yep.
what market is it? It's like, oh, nerds who design and want one copy of the thing they designed. That's your oeuvre. That's your bread. That's your audience, right? And
And not even
so,
just a copy though, but a copy that, I mean, JT mentioned that feels like you could have picked it up off a store shelf.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
Like it's not the I printed this on Microsoft Word and now I have it available in like
Right.
some laminated sheets. It looks like a real board game, and
hmm
you've
It
been
is a
making
real board game.
it is a real
yes,
board game, and you've been making changes and improvements year after year after year. I know sometimes there's comments that people say like, "Oh, my chits, like my punch outs, they kind of smell like campfire smoke because of the what is it, the lasers that's going around there." One, I
Right.
personally like it because it smells cool.
We've
But you
actually
mentioned that
gotten the
you got
opposite
rid
of
of that.
that lately because yeah,
Oh,
it's been better.
last fall, yeah, I got we had been working on this for years at this point, but we finally rolled it out last fall. We no longer cut with lasers, so it's all steel. Everything is steel cut, 100% of the time, with the exception of plastic. If you order like acrylic bits, we still cut that with a laser, but all of the paper products are cut with steel. And we actually get complaints pretty regularly now that are like, I miss the campfire smell. And so it's funny, like,
You should
because
get
we
like a
worked so
campfire
hard to get rid of
spray and just spray everything with the scent.
it. Yeah.
Because let me tell you guys, if you were using the Game Crafter in like, I don't know, 2010 or something, you would end up with like sooty hands all the time, and
Mhm.
you'd have to like wipe the pieces on the edge. And it is part of the charm, to be honest.
Mhm.
I still have some people's prototypes that they've sent me over the years where it's like, yeah, you're gonna have to like really wipe it down a little before you play. It's like, okay, I get it. It's fun.
Yeah.
Um, and so that's one major change, I guess, that you've taken the lasers out of the cutting of paper and wood, I guess, and
Yep.
you've moved it over to more die cutting. What other major technologies have you? And you've even said some have been really just like modified or really invented for just the
Mhm.
Game Crafter. What are some major non-trade secret type of technologies that you felt have really upped your game? Pardon the pun.
Sure. I mean, over the years, like just the speed at which we can print or cut, or the accuracy levels, like we designed and built a machine now that cuts our poker cards. It is unique to poker cards because we just make so many of them. And when I say poker cards, I mean poker-sized cards, not that it has like Hoyle traditional suits on it, that sort of thing. But that cutting machine is specially designed just for us. Like, it's built exactly for our process, and it literally, I mean, it's basically perfect in its registration. So it will actually, it grabs in the sheet to cut it. It will rotate it side by side for skew, left and right, and forward and back, and with cameras looking exactly where it's going to punch out those cards, and it is perfect. Um, and I wish I could
Right.
do it for every type of card, but it's the nature of how it's built. It really has to be something where you're doing a lot of work because the setup for it is very lengthy. So a lot of our cards shapes and sizes, there just isn't enough quantity to invest, a couple $100,000 into building a specialized robot just for cutting that one thing.
Yeah.
So, but poker cards we could do that with because it is something we do a lot of. And so we like that, take that thing that I just described to you and multiply it by 4 or 5 of those per year for the last 17 years straight. That's basically what we are constantly doing, right?
Yeah.
It's coming
That's your
up
arms
with,
race.
it is.
Yeah.
We're constantly replacing, like we are rolling out a new thing, right? I'm not going to talk about it yet because it's not out, but I'm literally working on a new machine right now that we are rolling out that is replacing something, something else that we invented just a few years ago. Like I've already outmoded the thing that we just did because it's so much better. And that's just the nature of what we're doing. We're always trying to find a way to make it faster, higher quality, better registration, better print quality, better surface texture, whatever the thing is, right? Or less human hands, because that allows us to get more out the door. Because that's another thing. Every time we improve our efficiency, more people just make more orders, which is great for us. But it also means that the queue continues to grow, and so we're always
Mhm.
trying. Queue management is a huge problem that we're always trying to solve, and it's impossible because it's the orders aren't, it isn't a flat line, it just keeps going, and so you need to keep reinventing yourself or you fall behind permanently. So
Yeah, and the more cool things you add, then it gives people more ideas they want to use. Like recently, not recently, for a while now, you guys have had the see-through cards, which
yes.
there's so many cool things you could do with that. And it's like, oh, if I want to make a game with those kinds of cards, what am I going to do? I'm going to go to the Game Crafter, and so I'm going there because you have them, and that's just going to
Mhm.
increase demand to do it because you're introducing more and more stuff all the time.
Yeah, I'm actually working on a new thing for
Yeah.
that specifically right now. I have but anyway, can't get into it. Sorry.
But
Okay, moving on.
I love the way that, yeah, when you guys do that stuff, when you get new components or a new machine or new tooling that'll allow you to do funky stuff that's never really been done before, once you get it, you'll always do something like, "Hey, everybody, we've got this new thing. We're going to run a contest about that thing. Here you
Yes.
go." And then we get to see like 50 new designs with that thing integrated into it. and it just gets a lot of people's juices flowing about what the possibilities are now that that technology exists,
Yeah.
which is phenomenal. And we've seen that on a wider scale with things like 3D printing, right?
Mhm.
Now that 3D printing is something that people do in their house, now we see all these weird and wild prototypes that are admittedly a little overblown to my liking, and maybe not reproducible at scale. I don't know if people understand what scale looks like in mass, but it's the kind of things that we're going to see that innovation, and I
Yeah.
like that you guys push and lead through example and through helping people, you know, find parts and things that will just invigorate them. Speaking of parts of things, IB Jeeper has a question. He asks, I have a game I'm working on uploaded to the Game Crafter. It's called The Lot. There are some things I could use help with understanding, such as, do you have dry erase boards? JT, do you have dry erase boards?
Yeah, actually, so we built our own, like we always do. We built our own custom coating that you can put on like cards and boards called UV coating. UV coating is a thing that exists in the industry, but we made our own special formulation. We worked with a chemist for 7 years to build our own
Wow.
custom formulation, so that it actually has a special polymer built right into the UV coating to make it dry erasable. So literally anything that you apply our UV coating to in your game will become dry erasable. So that's not all boards are capable of that, but a lot of the boards, if they're a folding board, that's the one type of board that we do not apply UV coating to. But like if you get a flat board from us, we can UV coat that. Cards or mats, that sort of stuff, we UV coat those. So even your little chits, we can UV coat those. So
That's very cool. And
CIBG, the world is your oyster.
exactly.
Yep.
You could probably UV coat an oyster, and then you could dry erase.
We really could UV coat an oyster, although it'd be very bad for the oyster.
Right.
I think that's one of the really cool things about the Game Crafter. It's not just a place that you go to you have all your stuff ready and you can have your game produced, but you also provide so many options, but also tools for game designers. So can you tell us a little bit more about Component Studio? Like, what is it? How can designers take advantage of it? Are there things that you wish more people knew about, they could take advantage of? What's concierge? That was like 6 questions in one go. So feel free to answer any of them.
Sure. Concierge is our service where people, like if you're struggling with our website, because our website is enormous, right? There's a lot of stuff there. And if you just you don't know how to make an SVG file and you want somebody to help you with that, you can literally hire our concierge. It's cost you $50 and they'll do it for you. So they'll make the SVG file for you, or they'll tell you how to use UV coating on your pieces to get dry erase, or whatever the thing is. You can also just ask one of our many communities. Like we have Facebook, Reddit, Discord communities, all kinds of stuff that we've been building where there's literally thousands of people out there every day that will share their love of the Game Crafter with you and like their knowledge of the Game Crafter. So you don't have to pay anybody, but if you're just like, I want somebody, a professional to do it, that's what Concierge is for. But going back to your question about Component Studio, that's a little side project I've been working on for a long time. That is really, if you've used Photoshop or Illustrator or those sorts of programs, it's that combined with a spreadsheet in a way that will allow you to basically automatically design your components for your game. So let's say you have a spreadsheet of all of the data that's going to go on your cards, and you then design the first card, Component Studio will design the next 100 for you automatically. And it's not using AI. It's just literally setting up it's almost like mail merge or something like that, except on a much more powerful scale. And so I built a command line version of this for myself years ago. And then somebody's like, why don't you make a website for it? And I did. And over the years now, we're on Component Studio version 3. I just released this last year, and it's easily the best version. It's all web-based, so you can use it from your phone or from whatever computer you have, your tablet. And you can design games on it, and then you can export them out to Tabletop Simulator or the Game Crafter, or generate PDFs, to go get them printed somewhere, or even print them at home as a print and play kind of thing, whatever you want. but yeah, the whole point of it is when you're designing games, you're designing that game 100 times probably by the time it's done, right? Like you're constantly revising it. And
Mm-hmm.
so you put up the effort that first time, the 20 minutes or an hour to build that first card, and then it will generate the other 100 cards. But then when you decide that the number that's in the upper left corner has to go to the lower right corner, you can do that once and all 100 cards are instantly updated. Right? You don't have to do it on each card, opening each file, that sort of thing. Or if you want to replace an icon, you literally just upload a new image and it's replaced everywhere instantly. So that sort of thing is what Component Studio does for you. It automates your game design so you can get back to playtesting more rather than spending time in design software.
Mm-hmm. Have you automated playtesting yet? Just asking for a friend.
I'm working on it, honestly. I'm working on it. We'll probably talk about that tonight. So I don't know if we're at that point at this point or not, but yeah, I am working on that.
We can talk about whatever you want.
Before we jump into that,
mm-hmm.
Well, before we jump into that, because that's a nice way to keep people on the line for the rest of the show. We have a big surprise later on, but print and plays have become more and more popular over the last little while, especially with the pandemic, especially with costs of everything and shipping and all of that. And there have been different sites like P&P Arcade, but several of them have been closing down recently. And it seems as though the Game Crafter has kind of stepped into that now newly formed void. So can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Sure. So we've been doing print and plays on our site for many years at this point, where you could upload a PDF and then either sell it on our site or literally just give it away for free and just use our bandwidth basically to distribute your PDFs for your print and plays. And so we've been doing that forever, but we didn't really promote it as a feature on the site until recently because of all of the strife that you just mentioned, like with P&P Arcade itself was really the big impetus. When they decided to shut that down, there was a whole lot of people where that was their home for where they're going to put stuff, and we wanted to be able to step in and help those people, have a home basically. And so we created a new little sub-site of our site called P&P Hero, Print and Play Hero. And if you go to pnphero.com, that'll take you to that little subsection of the Game Crafter, and it literally is just the print and play section of the Game Crafter. It's all of the print and play games that we sell. And then in addition to that, we also built a little tool called the P&P Generator that's built right into our game editor. And the generator will literally take a game that you've uploaded to our website so that you could print it at the Game Crafter, and it will generate the PDF print and play file that you could then put onto P&P Hero. So you don't even have to make your own print and play files. The Game Crafter can manufacture those for you for free. So
right
there you go.
That's wonderful. I actually remember the day that it happened. Do you remember that, JT? When people were starting to talk about P&P Arcade, and JT gets on there, he's typing away, and he says, "Do lots of people use this?" And I commented under JT's, "I know what you're thinking, JT." And then it happened. There you go. P&P Hero.
you did know what I was thinking.
Exactly what you were thinking. And I think that's awesome, because one of the things, and we've had like Martin Gonzalez come on to the TTGDA webinar series about
Martin's awesome.
Yeah, about like what does it take to make a good P&P file, because people want low ink, high contrast. They want all sorts of different versions of things, and to know all that actually takes a lot of just like wherewithal in terms of printing and how printers work and what people want out of these things and how to lay out your sheets and whatnot. And so if you have again an automated way of doing that from the files that people are uploading already to get like their physical copies, I think that's really cool. I think we just lost JT.
We did for a second. So
who knows? He might come back.
Hopefully we pops back on. I know when I got bumped off, I could still hear and see everything. So So JT, if you can still hear us, sometimes it helps. In the top left-hand corner, there's a camera icon. There we go.
There it is.
Yeah, I could still hear you guys and see you.
Something weird is going on. I don't know. But yes, I really appreciate that. I think that's a really cool idea, and that is like my favorite thing about the Game Crafter. Even though I don't use it a ton, I'll admit, is that you are so responsive to the community. Like you listen to the community, you're part of the community, you're active in the community, and you just want to make tools that help the community do what it wants to do.
That's because I'm a game
right?
designer, right? I want these things for
Yeah.
me a lot of the time. Well, in the case of PNPs, it's not an area of expertise for me, even though like I know Martin and I really enjoy the stuff that he does and the whole PNP community. I know a lot of people that do it. It's not a thing for me, but I recognize it as something that's important to our community at large, even though it's not my area of expertise. But yeah, as a game designer, most of the things I build or most of the things I release out into the world are because I want them for me. It's, as a game designer, like if somebody else built that, I'd be happy to use that thing. But sometimes they do, and I don't like it. And sometimes nobody builds it. So then I do. So
there you go. So in terms of the Game Crafter, and what you're doing outside of like the core of making the print on demand one shot things, there's other stuff that users can do through the Game Crafter. Like it's not like a P500, and it's not like a Kickstarter, but there's another way.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that people can sell their games at like a decent rate, because one-offs are expensive, right?
They are, yeah.
And so what is that called? I can't remember the term.
It's called a crowd sale.
Crowd sale.
A crowd sale, yeah. And it's it literally is a sale.
Oh, we lost JT again. So you came on and JT left. It's like Pokeroo all over again.
It is.
Sorry, JT. Yeah, you are. Okay, so the crowd sales.
So yeah, crowd sale. It's literally a sale where you bring a crowd. It's like a Kickstarter, but there's no tilt point, right? There's with a Kickstarter or a GoFundMe, or not a GoFundMe. What's the Game Found. There you go. Thank you. There's so many of those out there that I'm always anyway. So Kickstarter or Game Found, those kind of things, you have a tilting point, a point at which the sale actually happens. So until you get enough backers, it's going to fail, right? With a crowd sale, it can't fail unless you get 0 sales, I suppose. That would be the one way for it to fail. It's literally the more people that buy into it, the cheaper the price becomes for every single person that backed it, because we don't actually charge, just like the Kickstarter, we don't charge until the end of the sale. Right. So if you get 10 people in, then you get the bulk discount of whatever 10 copies of your game is. But if you get 100 people in or 1,000 people in, you get the bulk discount of, whatever echelon there is. And there's a different discount for every 10 people that you get into your sale. The price goes down by a little bit. And so you get enough people in there, because we've had a couple of crowd sales now that have had, 2,000 backers in it, and you get a good discount at that point. So, I mean, not that you don't get a good discount even at 10, but it's a way to kind of mitigate the risk a little bit. And also the other thing that goes with a crowd sale is you don't have to do any of the work that happens at the end of a Kickstarter. Like at the end of the Kickstarter, that's when your real work begins as a publisher, right? Yeah. It's not the Kickstarter. That was already a ton of work, but then you got to work with the manufacturer, get it all shipped out to everybody, pay for all the taxes and all the things that go on. With us, you make your game up front, you put it up on a crowd sale, and at the end, we've already collected everybody's credit cards because they're already customers on our website. We bill them. We manufacture the game and we ship it out to everybody individually. You don't have to do anything. And if anything goes wrong in the mail, like let's say something gets lost or dinged or whatever in the mail,
you just make a new one.
We replace it for free and ship them a new one, right? Like you don't have to deal with any of that. So it makes it super easy as a game designer that doesn't want to get into business of publishing, because that's what it is. When you go and do a Kickstarter, you become a publisher at that point. And so this allows you an easier way. Now, we don't have the eyeballs that Kickstarter does, so you're not going to probably get 10,000 people. You're not going to have $1 million crowd sale probably, but you can have a pretty successful one. And so I mean it's a good way. Definitely
designers I know that have like totally begged off of Kickstarter, and that's all they do is crowd sales now.
That's true. There's a few
Because
of them.
it works for them. They like it. They're using this as a way to create, and they have total creative control. It's usually a lot of the people who are also good artists and
Yes.
graphic designers, right? They're like a triple threat.
I agree with you. Like all three of them that I can think of that are doing it regularly are in fact all good artists. You're right. In addition to being good game designers.
They've basically built a world or some kind of line that feels right to them, and they don't want anybody like sticking their 2 cents in there. And so, and you're right, it works really well. Literally, you've seized the means of production, JT, right? From other than the idea of the game. Well, you made the means of production. I don't know. I just wanted to sound pithy. But right, but it's like an all-in-one solution on American soil, which is rare these days, right?
And it also provides an alternative too. So like a lot of times you see a lot of new game designers, they have an idea and they think they either don't know the process, they think they have to go straight to crowdfunding, or maybe they just want to make a game that they have a copy of it at home, they have a few copies for friends and family, and that's it. And so now this is an alternative to being like, well, now I have to order 500 copies minimum to get my game out there.
And they sit in my garage. No, they sit in JT's garage.
And so like, now you could just order 10 copies or maybe even crowd fund it and send your friends and family just to go grab it from there. And you're not dealing with any of the headache like you just mentioned, but you can still have that feeling of like, hey, I produced this thing on my shelf. It looks awesome. And I don't have to, again, have a whole garage full of games that I don't know what to do with.
Yeah. Sen, you don't realize it, but you just stabbed me in my own heart, because before I created the Game Crafter, I actually used to go to India and get my games made, like as a publisher, kind of thing. And I still, literally right now to this day, have some of my games from 30 years ago or 20 years ago that were made in India, and they're still sitting in my garage right now because I didn't sell through all of them, and I can't bear to let them go.
I mean, that's like. It's time to liquidate. It's time to liquidate.
It is. It really is.
IB Jeeper has another question. He asks, does the Game Crafter offer any type of advertising with the crowd sales?
We do a little bit of marketing for you. So most of the marketing is going to be on you. Like that's the thing with the Game Crafter. We will manufacture stuff for you, but we're not your publisher. So we're not out there publicizing your games in general. With the crowd sale, we do leverage our social media on your behalf. So you will get, you can post stuff out to our blog and our Facebook feed and stuff like that. We also advertise on the site, on our actual website. There will be ads posted throughout the site when your game is on sale. We also increase your game in our search rankings on our site. So if somebody's searching for something where your keywords would pop up, you're going to be higher in the search rank during the crowd sale. So there's a whole bunch of little things. Your SEO goes up, exactly. And so we do a whole bunch of those little things just because you have a crowd sale running right now. But that still isn't, you're still going to want to do your own marketing on top of that. But it's a way to boost whatever it is that you're doing.
Yeah, that's really cool. So. You know what? I think I'm gonna have to ask you to come on to the TTGDA webinar series sometimes, JT, because I think there's a lot of people who are younger in their career anyways, designers who could definitely use your service. Like there's a lot of people who just want to pitch. I just want to pitch. And then some people who like, I don't know enough about Kickstarter to self-publish. And I think this is a nice kind of happy medium in a lot of ways to get that physical product into your hands that you could, use as a stepping stone into not necessarily better things, but bigger things or different things. Let's put it that way. It's different, right?
Yeah.
Because like I said, there are people who are very happy with just running crowd sales all the time. And it's really interesting that people can do that and not feel the lure of, the $1 million Kickstarters or whatever. Because they're out there, but again, it's a lot of work. Like I've worked on several of the biggest Kickstarters in the history of Kickstarter, and it's no fun, guys. It is a whole lot of work. Like there's like teams of people. It's not
You're
just a
being
one
kind.
person show
It
that's making it.
sucks. It sucks so much.
I've run a few
I'm,
myself. I
yeah,
agree.
I'm launching one in a couple weeks, and it's like, okay,
Oh
no,
no.
no more sleep, no more sleep for the
Yeah.
next little while. Go to
Yeah.
the game. What we're trying to say is go to the Game Crafter because they do all kinds of cool stuff, including possibly a secret project that we were alluding to earlier.
Oh yeah. What's the
Ooh.
secret? Tell us the secret.
The secret. Well, let me share my screen actually. So while I'm sharing my screen, I will tell you that I am creating a new little app called playtestparlor.com.
What?
Um, yes, it is. It is right here on my screen right now. So Playtest Parlor is a way to playtest games online, and you're probably thinking to yourself, well, Tabletop exists, Simulator exists, or ScreenTop.gg exists, or one of the 30 other apps that do this. Right? There's no reason that I should be doing this, but I did it because my brain is stupid. Um, so this is in alpha at this point. You can, it's a game design app. You can put your own custom cards in here, like I have. You can add pieces. You can add little dice or whatever. You can upload custom 3D models. You can roll your dice, and if you click on here, I'll just roll my dice, and I can see that. You can do all kinds of crazy stuff in here. Everything you might want to do in a game design app for playtesting a game. You can do it in real time while you're playing the game. I can even come in here and be like, you know what? Let's move this pawn right here. I'm going to click on this thing right here, and I'm going to right click. I'm going to mark this up, and I'm going to be like, you know what? We don't want this on here right now. I'm going to just mark that. And now that's crossed off right there. Something you would do in live playtesting is take out a Sharpie and just be like,
Yes.
I don't want to do that anymore, right? And so you can literally Sharpie your components right in the game in real time. And so the reason I did this is because I love playtesting. I love board games. I love video games. And yet I have hated every single one of the apps on the market that people
Same.
use for this. What's that?
Same. I detest online playtesting. There's two reasons why. One is because most of the apps suck, and the second part is just because being a therapist, I watch people and I analyze what people do, and I can't see you because you're behind a screen. It's very
Right.
difficult for me to do my job.
Yeah.
Anyways, but yes,
I
this
agree
is
with that
better
part.
already.
So I don't have necessarily a way to solve that personal interaction that you get at a table, right? Although I'm trying, because I have integrated Discord into it. So you can literally have a voice and video channel for your game live while you're in the game. And you don't even have to know the handles of everybody. They can literally use the website and just join in, and you'll all be in the same room together just because you're in the same game together. So
Interesting.
there is that. At least, but it's still not the same as being in meat space, and there's nothing I can do about that part of it. But I can at least make some of the other stuff not suck so much. And so, and by the way, this is not to disparage these other apps that are out there. I'm sure they're fine. They just don't work for my brain. So the first problem that I have when I come into those apps is, all right, somebody's built out their cool game. I'm here like this. I don't know the first thing about how to interact with a thing. Like, how do I roll that dice, or how do I, flip a card over, or any of that kind of stuff. And so
R for roll, F for flip.
Yeah, you have to know the freaking keyboard commands. So I was like, well, how is it discoverable? So if you click on something, it literally will show you the options that you have for that thing right down here at the bottom. For anything that you can click on, it'll show you all the options for that thing. And you can still do the randomization stuff. So if I want to shuffle this, I could hit shuffle here, or I can hit S on my keyboard and it'll shuffle. Or if I come over here, I can hit R and roll that. But I can also go down here and click roll, or I can right click on it and click roll. So you have every way that you might want to interact with any given piece, you can do it. But the most important thing is that every single thing you can do is fully discoverable. And that, to me, is really important.
That sounds like a game designer designed this. No,
Well,
because that is a very important thing for you out there. If you're having trouble with rule books,
mhm.
likely it's because you're not putting things where people think it should be. Like if
Mm.
people do not like your rule books, it's because you've missed putting information where they assume it should be. And that's a very important thing to know when writing because you almost have to do it. Right. So, anyways, I like the discoverability. I think that's wonderful. Is this all integrated with Component Studio and all the other stuff? So there's a lot of other stuff, guys, that you could get on the Game Crafter. This seems like a big Game Crafter ad, but it's not. Like people sell like sets of icons and things like that, right? Art piece
Mhm.
and all this stuff on the Game Crafter that you can like buy and use with like a limited license. Does all that stuff integrate into Playtest Parlor, or is it kind of separate and you have to export and then import it back in?
No. Okay. So Playtest Parlor is an alpha at this point, right? I
Yeah.
literally am making it right now. But you can literally, like this game that you see before you, I imported this directly from the Game Crafter. I didn't upload anything to Playtest Parlor. This is literally a game I already had on the Game Crafter that I printed a prototype last week of, and then imported it into here. And so I'm literally using the cards and the artwork from that game right here in this interface. And so I've got, all of the data is here. All of the images are here. It's all imported automatically. The app automatically crops the bleed off of the images. It automatically resizes them, scales them for web interface usage.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't have to know what size you need to. It automatically translates all of the images to be their relative sizes in millimeters. So, each of these squares right here is a 25 millimeter square. And so when you hook up this card to it, you can kind of see, how many millimeters.
The size of yeah.
It's the size of a real playing card, right?
Right.
And so you don't have these that's another thing I don't like about a lot of the virtual tabletops is there's a lot of them are kind of like this kind of weird fuzzy scale of pixels or something else. They don't have any relation to how big something is in real life.
There's no banana. There's no
banana.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so, yeah, it's that sort of stuff to try and make it easier. Like even your tools for editing, you can just kind of come over here. Like if you want to inspect any of these things, you can go to this and just mouse over anything and get to see it bigger than it was and just scroll around. You can also start to see some history. So like here I'm looking at this dice and it's showing you every number that dice has rolled since you've been in the game. Right. And so there's just a lot of that kind of stuff. If I want to edit this die, I can literally go to the edit tool. And now instead of showing me my interactions like roll, flip, whatever, I go to the edit tool and now I can edit, mark up, copy, hone, whatever. So I want to make a duplicate. There I go. I can make a duplicate. If I want to edit it, I can do that. Come in here. If I want to change the labels on this thing, so I want that 4 to instead be, let's say, maple syrup. Right? There we go. So now if I change this, click this here. I click this thing here to set face up. I want to go to the MS side now. So now my dice has an MS side right on it, right? And so you can do all of this stuff and it's all discoverable because everything that you need to interact with a thing is on screen at all times. If I want to highlight a whole bunch of stuff all at once, like maybe I don't want these dice, I can go to the marquee tool, select multiple things, and then look, here's all of the different things I can do to both of them at the same time. So I'm going to delete both of these dice at the same time.
So you don't have to know that you can or can't do something.
Exactly.
There's no grayed out things.
Yeah. And so, it's that sort of thing. Another thing that like getting around in a lot of games. So here's, I'm zoomed in. I have a little mini map for the whole table. I can just bump around and kind of go, see those things. But I also can do keyboard shortcuts and all kinds of stuff. So for example, maybe I'm out here looking at the map, but I want to go see my personal area. I can just go down here and hit mine, M. And now I'm looking at my personal area where I've got stuff.
I cannot tell you how many times I've got lost in TTS. Like, what am I looking at? Oh, that's not my play area. That's somebody else's play area.
Right.
Totally happens to me all the time. IB Jeeper asks a question. He asks, does it do images on dice sides?
Absolutely, it does images on dice sides.
Absolutely.
So, I don't have any. I don't have any.
Why is that even a question, IB Jeeper?
Yeah, why is that a question? That's not a dumb question. It
No,
will.
no,
Yes, you can absolutely upload your own images for the dice sides. You can upload, like I said, you can upload 3D models for if you need to put a 3D model in here. So I should say,
oh, okay, good. I was
this is something.
That.
This is something I should point out. This is a web-based interface, and one of the cool things about the web-based interface is that though the person that starts the game has to have an account on the site, everybody else joining just has to have a URL. They don't even have to have an account to join and play test with you, right?
Right.
So it gets rid of
like that, but yeah.
Yeah, it gets rid of the friction. You don't have to download anything. You just have a URL, no account. But the other thing I was going to say, I've got 3D models in here, but this is a web-based interface that is top-down only. I'm not trying to create a physics simulator like Tabletop Simulator. So for example, here's my pawn. I'm looking at it straight down. Now, if I exhaust that pawn, you will see it laying on its side because it is a 3D model. I can actually show you what it looks like laying itself on its side because it's exhausted, but it's not, I'm not trying to simulate the world over here. I'm trying to play a board game. So just
a board game that is simulating the world. Okay.
A board game that is simulating the world. No.
Very cool.
Yeah, go for it.
So no physics models, but still 3D stuff importable.
Yep.
So what type of games couldn't you make in this?
Well, anything that's a physics simulation, you're not going to do in here, obviously, because
flicking
you're
games,
not going to make Jenga
things. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. And you shouldn't do that in Tabletop Simulator either because it's janky AF.
I agree. But yeah, that's really that's going to be the big limit is anything that requires kind of physics, you won't be making in here. But everything else, pretty much, if you got a board, you've got you got cards, you got dice, you got pawns, whatever the things are that you're going to use, your normal components are all going to be doable in here. And there's all kinds of little fancy stuff too. So for example, my game has these little rings in it like this. And so let me just bring this pawn out here. You can actually put a ring on the pawn and it'll tell you how many rings you've got stacked on your pawns.
Right.
So you can do little things like that. With you've got interactions that you would have in the real world, but they're you won't necessarily have every little interaction. I can stack pawns. That's something you might not be able to do in the real world, but depends on whether the pawns are designed to be stackable. But you can stack up all of your little tokens and whatever. You can create little bags. So if I go over here, I'll let's put out a bag, a token bowl, a counter, and a timer. Just those are probably things that people would want to see. So let's edit this timer. Oops. What am I doing here? Oh, I didn't close this. That's what I'm not doing. Okay. So
go to the edit tool.
This. Yep. Go to the edit tool. We'll hit the timer. I'm going to set this down to like 2 seconds. Done. So, did I just break it? Nope. It did. Nope. It just didn't update quickly. Nope. I must have broken this. Oh, because I'm on the edit tool, not the interact tool. That's why. So there you go. Timer's done. This timer is happening across the network. So if everybody's in it, they will all see the time. They will all hear the sound at the same time. And kind of getting a timer going across the network is actually a challenging thing to do, but it does. Yes. You've got your little counters for keeping track of, points or something. If you wanted to do that, you can throw tokens into a bag and then have kind of a blind draw. So if I put a few different little objects in here, you don't know what the things are that are in there, but you can pull one out randomly like that. You can also set up a token bowl like this, and you can see this one has an infinite amount of items in it, but I can just keep pulling rings out of there. However, I can also go over here and edit that token bowl. and I can say, you know what, there is only going to be 5 tokens in that token bowl. And so
Right.
now, as I start pulling off items out of that token bowl, the counter is going down as we go. And as I showed you before, like when you're inspecting things, you can actually see statistics about everything. So here you can see, how many are in there, how many are remaining, how many have been taken, how many have been returned back to the token bowl.
Interesting.
All kinds of little things, because I'm keeping track of stats for everything in the game. So I might as well let you have them in case that's interesting for you.
It could be, right? It could determine, how many of those tokens do we need in the whole game? Or do we need this in the game at all? If in the last 7 play tests, only one person has ever taken one,
Exactly.
That kind of frequency data is actually kind of useful when it comes to component count. IB Jeepers asking, have you considered the ability to change the view angle slightly?
I have not, and that's one of the few things that's not going to be negotiable. This is not rendered in 3D, even though it looks like it, right? Like I said, I'm using 3D models here, but all I'm really doing is generating the 3D model, taking a photo of it, and then putting it out on the page.
Right.
And I'm doing that for performance reasons, because I want this to work on like a low-end mobile phone. And if I'm actually rendering this in 3D, it just wouldn't, with the amount of components that people throw into games. Like, because you can have a game with like 2,000 pieces or something.
Especially in virtual space. That is an issue, actually.
Yeah. So for performance reasons, I decided right from the get-go that I wasn't going to render this in 3D.
That's sound.
And so, yeah.
I'm okay with
that. So
you
can't change the perspective. You can actually change the perspective of your 3D models, though. So like if you wanted to come in here and edit this particular 3D model, so you wanted to kind of simulate something else, you can come into the rotation and kind of like just flip it around. Oops. Rotate it a little bit and, have it look
now it's a
like
mushroom.
something else. Now it's, now I have it upside down. What am I doing here? Oh, there we go. So you can kind of mess around with it. It's kind of janky right now. I got to get this fixed. This was working better before, and I don't know what I did wrong with it, but I somehow broke it. Anyway, you can rotate around your 3D models to get it to look like something else.
Right.
And then
so you have a 3D model, you're rotating it, snapshotting it in a position, and that becomes like a state. You have like state 1 and state 2, or however many states you have. I get it. Okay, cool.
Yep.
That's really neat. And basically this was just built from rage and spite.
Well,
and caffeine.
Kind of, yeah. So here's the thing. Like I said before, there's 30 of these apps out on the market, at least that I'm aware of. There might be more. And I tried pretty much all of them as a user, not as a designer. I've tried a few of them as designers as well, but I've tried them as a user and I didn't like them for various reasons, and I couldn't figure out why I didn't like them. So I decided, what if I just start trying to build it a little bit? I wasn't planning to build the whole thing. And then I sort of got out of hand. But anyway, I started trying to build it just a little bit to figure out, what is it? Like, why can't I articulate why I don't like these things? Because I should like these things. And so I kept running into things like, as a programmer, I have a very expensive laptop that I write all my code on, and yet Tabletop Simulator lights the fans on fire for some reason. Yes. And I'm like, why does my laptop burn up every time I start Tabletop Simulator?
Because the code is inefficient. It's not a good piece of code.
And then, like, why can't I ever figure out what the hell I'm doing in any of these apps? And it's because nothing is discoverable. You have to know what's the, special key or the special mouse condition or whatever.
Well, you see, what you have to do, is save it as a JSON file and then drop it in an imgur folder and then upload it to. Did you know that?
Yeah, I did learn that about ScreenTop. Are there others that do that as well?
Yeah. Well, yeah, there's a bunch of things that it's just like, because a lot of them are actually, I think they feel kind of like not cobbled together, but cobbled together or from existing things, and they're using other resources to do things. Anyways, it's a little weird. But yeah. So can basically we live inside of a game crafter ecosystem where I make the game or design it mostly in, Component Studio. I can then export that to PNP hero. So some people can get my PNP things. I can set it off to get, printed properly at the Game Crafter proper, but I could have done it also and exported it from Component Studio into Playtest Parlor. Is that the
Yes.
hope, or is that the truth?
That is literally the truth right now already. Yeah. I'm going to make it even easier. Right now, in order to get Component Studio to here, you actually do have to go through the Game Crafter currently. So you would upload from Component Studio to the Game Crafter, and then you can import from the Game Crafter to here. So like you don't have to export your files back out of the Game Crafter. It will suck them in from the Game Crafter, but there's no direct link between Component Studio and here, because this, like literally right now, as I'm talking to you two, this is the first time I've talked about this app publicly. Like nobody other than the 20 playtesters that I have that have been helping me for the last couple of weeks, nobody has seen this app before tonight.
And so everybody here should feel blessed.
I don't know about that.
It is lovely. It's wonderful.
I'm not looking for that. I'm just saying that, this is a very new thing. That's all I was trying to convey, is that like, I've only been working on this for a little while and very few people have even seen it or heard that it exists. So there's probably more people watching your stream right now than all of the other people that have ever seen it. So that would be my guess.
Hopeful. So anyway, that's really, really cool though. Yeah. I think that this is the kind of thing that, the Game Crafter really is known for, but not known for. Like people who know that you push the envelope and it's not like reinventing the wheel. You're like taking the wheel and making it better, and more maybe suited for the express purposes of prototyping games and making games and things like that, which, ostensibly Tabletop Simulator's not really for. It's just we happen to use it that way, right?
Right.
Tabletop Simulator was really a VTT, like a virtual tabletop for playing Dungeons and Dragons and stuff like that. And then people decided to use for other things. And even things like itch.io. Itch.io was not made for role-playing games, which is what a lot of people use it for now. Itch.io was made for like indie game devs making video games.
Right.
And then people from the RPG scene glommed onto it because it was cheap and effective for what it was doing. And it's games in some way, right? So I think there's a lot of power in taking all of your experiences that you've had, looking at things that you like, looking at things that you don't quite like, and making it better. I think that's kind of like the story of JT. If there was a story of JT, it's like, I'm a curmudgeon, but I'm also going to make things better for everybody else at the same time that I'm going to complain about all the things that I don't like.
I am a complainer. You're absolutely right about that. But I put my money where my mouth is too.
And that's why I respect you, JT.
Yeah, you do? That's weird.
Right? Totally why I respect you. Yes. Hey, I don't have to like you to respect you.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I also happen to like JT quite a bit. So there you go. So if we're hopeful for Playtest Parlor, when do you think it's going to be in like maybe open beta?
It's in open alpha right now. Literally, you can go, if anybody knew the URL, they could have gone out to it, last week already,
right?
To start doing it. But now this is the first time I've said the name out loud. So I assume that anybody happening to listen to your podcast will know about it and can go use it right now. It's free while it's still in alpha or beta. So I'm thinking that it'll probably be in alpha for the next few weeks because I still have quite a few features that I want to add to it. And then beta will just be about, cleaning up any of the messes that I've created where people give me feedback and they're like, this would work better if you did it this way. And I'll be like, oh yeah, of course I should have done it that way. And I just didn't think about it. And so for the next couple of months after that, I'll have to be in beta to, take in people's feedback and be like, this is the way I should have done it from the get-go. And I've already gotten a lot of that from, like I said, I've got 20 or so people that are giving me feedback regularly about, this is how it should be, or you should have this little thing, do this or whatever. So that's basically the plan. So sometime this summer it will be stable or, production worthy or whatever, but people are already doing play tests on it with their friends right now. So feel free, go in, have fun.
Go find it.
It's on my dime. So go do it. I don't know what the pricing will be once I do get there, because I don't know what the infrastructure costs and that sort of stuff are going to be just yet. But it'll be somewhere between Tabletop Simulator and ScreenTop.gg, since those are the two popular things, right? It'll be somewhere between those two. I don't know where, but it won't be as expensive as ScreenTop, which is more expensive than Tabletop, and it won't be as cheap as Tabletop. So there you go.
Or the reverse of that.
Tabletop Simulator is cheap because it's a one-time purchase, and this will be a subscription of some sort.
Okay.
But it might be like where you pay a percentage of Tabletop Simulator's thing per year or something like that. I don't know exactly what it's going to be.
Cool.
But anyway, the reason it's got to be that way is because it's all web-based. It's online.
Yeah.
They're getting Steam to pay
costs
for their servers,
right,
where I don't have Steam paying for my servers. So
maybe you should talk to them. I'm kidding. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah, it doesn't really work that way. But yeah, otherwise, it'll be out. I mean, it is out, and you can start using it now if you want to. So,
all right, everybody. Well, go take a look for Playtest Parlor associated with the Game Crafter. Also, if you're into...
I just noticed what you did there.
What?
That's pretty cool, right?
You had the U in Parlor. Now I'm going to have to go get the U version of Parlor.com as well.
Yeah. We're Canadian.
We're Canadian. That's what's going to happen. And if you are interested in turning your Component Studio files into PNPs, check it out through PNP Hero. It does like the Game Crafter is about to do it all. This is great. If you want to talk to me, you can reach me on Blue Sky at Senfeng Lim. Hafiz, where are you?
I'm on Instagram at Printrink Games.
And we're both at Meeple Syrup on all the things. JT, thegamecrafter.com. Guys, just go there. You'll find, I think, anything you need, almost anything you need, other than like physical tools, like a leather craft punch or something. You won't find that there, but you'll find everything else. Or pizza.
No pizza. Sorry.
Although he did start by playing, the Ninja Turtles game, so somewhere there's pizza involved.
Oh god, yeah.
Right?
Pizza is great.
And if you want to help keep the lights on, you can go to patreon.com/meeplesyrup. JT, do you have any final advice for our viewers? Final advice? That sounds so final. It is, because it's the end of the show.
Honestly, I think Hafiz is we talked about this earlier at the beginning. People tend to get the idea in their head that you can't make a game because something else is already out there, that there's already a game about museums, right? There's already a game that does this, that, and the other thing. It's got this theme, it uses this mechanic, and that's the thing that pisses me off the most when I'm out in forums is people limiting themselves or other people limiting other people's ideas because they think that you can't do a thing, and I think that you can do anything. You just have to do it. And honestly, if you tried to design the museum game that's down the road, or Terraforming Mars that's on my shelf behind me, or whatever, if you set out to make that game, by the time you're done, you will have made something new. Because that's the thing, that creativity is unlimited. Don't limit yourself, and don't let other people limit you.
There you go. I love it. Just do the thing, right? Make changes. Love it.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, right. We just talked about 30 other apps that do what this app that I'm making. I'm still making it. So.
Because he's a curmudgeon, everybody. Next week, who do we have here next week, Hafiz?
Next week is TBD. So you're going to have to tune in to find out. And
special.
Yeah.
It's very special. All right. Well, everybody, we will see you here next week. Same time, same place. Thanks, JT, so much for coming on the show and letting us in on like the next big thing in tabletop game design. That is lovely and wonderful. And remind me to have you on the educational series for TTGDA, because I think people would like to hear what you have to say. All right, everybody, we will see you soon. Hafiz, we'll see you in a bit.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Bye.
Bye-bye, everybody.